Next candidate, Mary Mayer.
Good evening. I'd like to thank everyone for this opportunity to be here this evening and to meet all your candidates up for one of the most important seats that you can vote on is your city government. I was elected to Clarksurg City Council in 2009, and I'm up for my second term for re-election on June 4th. I'm a native of Clarksurg, born and raised. I am married to Bill, and we have 3 ages 21, 19, and soon to be 17. 3 boys in Clarksurg is a task on its own. Just a little background information. I attended Liberty School and attended Fairmont State University for 2 years. I'm employed through the Harrison County Board of Education, where I work at Notre Fort Elementary School as a cook. What a wonderful and tremendous past years it has been on Clarksurg City Council. We have cleaned up and developed 3 brownfield sites, which now are currently Alberry Peppers, Valley Supply, Shop and Save, and Save-A-Lot in Addison. Highland Hospital acquired the old UHC hospital site. Sheets built a brand new store in Route 18. The state office complex. And just recently, Governor Tomlin announced that the DMV will move from Bridgeport to down Clarksburg. What wonderful news that is. We are also in the first stage of demo site prep for a new CVS at the corners of Main and Marshall. The first stage of Chestnut Street is finished, and the second stage will soon start. Just imagine how nice it will be to travel over Chestnut Street and not have to worry about damaging your cars or possibly getting into an accident. And now with the weather heating up, what better news than the new Clarksurg Aquatic Center? Just think, for the older citizens, relaxing and going down the lazy river, as Gary Bowden just said a few minutes before the candidates forum started. I'm also looking forward to the smiles that it is going to put on the youth's face in Clarksburg. What a wonderful asset it will be for them. I'm a proud supporter of all the different branches of the city government and employees from the police department and their daily fight to keep drugs off the street and away from our children. To the fire department, to public works, who make sure the streets are clear and safe for our travel in the winter. To the sanitary board and the police at City Hall. And last but certainly not least, the park board and what they do to keep bettering and improving our community and city parks for our children. I support various projects the city has. Just a few examples are the demolition of the dilapidated structures, which are not only an eyesore, but a safety issue as well. Okay, I'll just wrap it up really quick. I am Mary Mayer. I am seeking my second term on Clarksburg City Council, and we need to keep Clarksburg going in the right direction. So re-elect me, Mary Mayer, to Clarksburg City Council, the right choice for your voice.
Okay. Next candidate is Gary Keith.
Hi, everybody. I'd like to thank the Center and Bill for setting this up. I'm not a real established public speaker. I think that I have to go after the incumbents with a great prepared message. They do an excellent job. I'd like to be a candidate that comes up here and bangs on the podium and says, you know, we're doing all the wrong things, we need to go a whole new direction, but I don't really feel like that's the case. You know, I think Clarksburg's had some tough decades in the past, but we're headed in the right direction at this point. I credit a lot of that to new ideas of Kathy and Gary Bowden getting on the council in the last election. I think it would be nice to continue to put some fresh ideas out there and see if some new people could keep us going in the right direction. Just a little bit about me. I went to Liberty High School. I'm a native of Clarksburg. My father's a police officer, retired from the police force. My mother, her retired from Kroger. She was a front office down at downtown Kroger's for many years. I love this town. I went away for years in North Carolina. I found out I was going to be a father, and I wanted to give the same opportunity that I had to grow up in a great small town. And I'd like future generations to feel the same way about this town. We need to create kind of a new vibe. My little slogan kind of has become, as this elections went on, that a vote for me will be a vote for Clarksburg PD. As my full-time job, I'm one dispatcher, and I hear the problems of the city. I answer the phone every day, and I've probably talked to many of you. You know, we don't give out our names, but I'm on the phone. I don't think anybody knows the problems of the city in more detail probably than I do, down to actually who has the problem, what their phone number is. All up here. But really, a vote for me is going to be a vote for Clarksburg PD. I want to give them more resources, more funding, give them whatever they need to clean up the crime and the drugs. There's lots of other issues I have great ideas for. If you want to search for my website on Facebook, I've actually posted a full platform. It's like 5 pages if you can stand to read it all. I think I'm probably the only person that's done that. I have lots of great ideas, but in 3 minutes, that's pretty much the one I wanted to concentrate on. The only other thing I'd like to mention really quick is in reference to downtown business. I really think that we need to go a new direction with downtown business. It's never going to be what it was once. We're not going to have every service we can possibly get within 2 blocks. What we need to concentrate on is becoming a village and a social center. And one huge idea that I haven't heard anybody else say other than me, we would have to check and see if it would work out, but something we could look into is possibly moving Main Street to 1 lane, parking on the sides, all free, and just trying to create more of a social atmosphere. Maybe the restaurants could move out to the sidewalk. We could have twinkling lights over top, and it could be a really cool little place if we took the right steps as a city to create that atmosphere. I think the businesses would come. I heard the beep, so I'm going to move away from the podium in a calm fashion. Vote for me, please.
In a calm fashion.
All right, moving right along. Our next Bob Kaplan.
As the fashion has been, I too would like to thank the center here in Harrison County for opening its doors, letting us speak our minds. I thank you, Bill and Max, for having us, board of directors that are present. Thank you very much. I want to tell you a little bit about my past first, present, and then the future. The past has been a good past. I've been married, lived in Clarksurg, been married for 35 years to Sherry Thompson, in the audience here, and raised 3 beautiful children here in Clarksburg. Now I'm having grandchildren, and this is a wonderful place to be. I didn't think of saying, but I lived in California for a few years when I was in the service. I was stationed in New York City. I still, over those venues, would pick coming back to Clarksburg to live and raise a family. Very important to me. Clarksburg's been very important to me. I'd like to talk a little bit about what's going on in Clarksburg. You've heard a little bit. I have some ideas as well, visions of Clarksburg, the neighborhoods around Clarksburg. I don't have time really to get into all of it, but I too have a site, clarksburgmatters.com. I'd like for any of you that access to a computer to get on, you can read a little bit more about it. But some of the things that I'd like to see, and I'll focus on the downtown. A viable downtown needs 3 different types of business. Retail, of course, professional, and service businesses. We've become a banking center, very important, service-oriented business. We need professional businesses as well downtown. Along with that, retail is starting to open up. I'm very proud of what's been going on in downtown. I'm very proud of things that are happening around town. The Brownsfield projects were mentioned. The roadways, Chestnut Hills, North Ohio Avenue, the main arteries that will bring people to town and to our neighborhoods. I want to mention a couple of other things about Clarksburg that I think can happen. Something that's very important to me is people living in Clarksburg. I think there are buildings in Clarksburg, there are second stories in Clarksburg that can be turned into apartments, condominiums, various aspects. As people grow, get a little older in life, it's enjoyable to live in the downtown. It's happening across the country. It can happen here as well. So I think once the mix takes place, we'll be just fine. I like the direction the city's going. I'm fortunate to be on council right now. Hunt seat. Jim's up for election June 4th. The rest of us here. And that would be Bob Kaplan. So some of the things that I'd like to mention also about the neighborhoods. I think the neighborhoods are an important part of downtown. Neighborhood watch, paint, fix, be proud of your neighborhoods the way they used to be. I lived and grew up in Broadway. I lived and grew up in Staley. Very proud of it. I want to see that continue.
Vote for Bob Kaplan.
What's that noise?
All right, our next candidate, Dan Thompson.
Is he here?
Anyone here representing Dan? Okay. Ryan Kennedy.
Hi, my name is Ryan Kennedy. I am a lifelong resident of Clarksburg, except for a few years when I was in the Army, also when I was at WVU, and unfortunately a couple of years when I had to move out of state because I was one of those young people who couldn't find a job around here. I want to change that. My vision for Clarksburg is a place where you have a bustling downtown again, where you have all the storefronts full of various businesses, where you have jobs, good jobs, where people of the next generation, the one that's following mine, don't have to leave the area to find work, that they can stay here, that your children and grandchildren can stay here. That's the vision I have for Clarksburg. And I actually brought a visual aid with me. And I know it's a little bit hard to see from back there, but I put a highlighter on it, so it'll be a little bit easier. I have here in my hand 2 B&O tax forms. One's from Bridgeport, one's from Clarksburg. This is the Clarksburg form. Everything highlighted is a higher tax rate than Bridgeport. One of the reasons why we don't have as many businesses downtown is because our B&O taxes are higher in most places. As a matter of fact, there's not a single B&O tax that ours is less than Bridgeport. And it's either equal or theirs is lower. I'd like to change that. I also like to simplify taxes to attract businesses, because businesses like things to be sure. And if they know what they're going to pay and they can budget for it ahead of time, it's much easier for them to want to come here. Another thing, I heard another candidate say this already, I would like to increase the free parking downtown, because I think that once you have businesses downtown, you want people to come to them, and it's a competitive disadvantage to have to pay to park to go to businesses downtown, but you don't have to other places. Little background information on me very quickly. I grew up here in Clarksburg, and I have 4 young children. My son, my oldest, is 6. He actually is graduating from kindergarten tomorrow. And my youngest is 1 year old, and she is on the move. And I look into the future, and it's not going to be that many years until they actually are looking for jobs and employment and looking for where they're going to settle. And I want them to stay here. And so I want to get on city council so that by the time my kids grow up, this can be a place where they can stay and work and live, and I can play with my grandkids. My name is Ryan Kennedy. Thank you.